Hi, everyone. My name is Beth Shaw. I'm the founder of Yoga Fit Training Systems, the author of 4 best-selling books on health and wellness, and the host of Make America Healthy podcast. And we are so happy to have you here with us today. Today's topic is dirty foods and dirty drinks, what you don't want to be putting in your body if you want to be healthy. Our goal on Make America Healthy is to empower you with information so that you can make more informed choices physically, mentally, energetically, and in every way, so you can take control of your own physical and mental health. So we are joined by 2 amazing guests today. We have the founder of Life Boost Coffee, Dr. Charles Livingstone. Life Boost is actually also one of our sponsors, and I'm obsessed with their coffee. And we also have an author and graduate of Berkeley University, Cheryl the Health Muse. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves, how they got started, and then we're going to dive right into what's dirty and what's not. I'm going to start with you, Dr. Charles. Welcome to Make America Healthy.
Yeah, thanks, Beth. Glad to be here. I'm Dr. Charles Livingstone, CEO and co-founder of Life Boost Coffee. I'm a chiropractor by trade. I graduated from Palmer College of Chiropractic in Davenport, Iowa, which is the original chiropractic college. So it was like the one that kind of started it all. So practiced for a while. Then I started to really get into health and wellness. I've got thousands of hours of research and study under my belt. And I started doing increasing my audience size by getting online and teaching a method of weight loss. We create a weight loss program. So that's my roots on how I got started into the health industry outside of chiropractic. So started there, went into a supplement company. After that, created a supplement company that really focused on liver health and probiotics and omega-3s and just what I think are essential supplements that people should be taking daily. And then from there, coffee literally just fell in my lap. Had a small farm that was taking my supplements, and they absolutely loved them. And they wanted to put them in their coffee. And I was like, yeah, it's not going to work. These are liver herbs, super bitter. Your coffee's going to taste terrible if you put it in there. Let's not do that. I started drinking coffee when I was about 35. So at that point, I was like, let me try some coffee. And it was some of the best coffee they'd ever had. Then we created a partnership there as one of my vendors, and they were the start of what Life Boost is now. And now we have multiple small farms across Nicaragua and 3 different roasters across the US. And now we have tons of different types of coffee and flavors and roasts. And yeah, here we are today.
Well, I'm so excited for a variety of reasons. One, that you're a chiropractor, and interesting story. In college, I was in a really bad car accident, and they sent me to chiropractors, and these guys were former basketball players. And
Oh,
they were the ones who turned me on to food combining and the book Fit for Life. And I got obsessed with nutrition because of all those food combining charts and reading the book. That book was so instrumental in my life. It's an oldie, but a goodie. And also, I love coffee. I remember the first cup of coffee I ever had. I was around 10 years old, and I was at a horse show, and I had coffee, had sugar in it at the time, which is something I never put in my coffee anymore. But I have learned over the years how so many coffees are full of mold and toxins and pesticides. And in my quest to stay healthy and youthful and keep everything functioning well, keeping mold and toxins, pesticides out of the body is so important for all of us. So we're going to dive a lot into what is in your coffee. Dr. Charles, thank you so much for being here. And again, I am obsessed with Life Boost coffee, and I think it's out now. We have a mindfulness blend that I developed for you that is half calf because I don't like to get too jacked up. It's not good for me. It's powered by Yoga Fit for Life Boost coffee. And we'll be sharing some codes with you all a little bit later in the show so you can try some of that. So, Cheryl Health Muse, welcome to Make America Healthy.
Thank you. I was an entrepreneur who did everything to make my business successful except take care of me, and I crashed and burned. Ended up, my doctor had no clue what was wrong with me, wanted me to seek mental therapy, and I decided I was going to dig and find out what had gone wrong with my body because I knew something was wrong. One of the places I started was with food. because food is astonishingly dirty. If you're eating conventional produce, it is heavily sprayed with pesticides and herbicides, which are poisons, which you don't want in your body. If it's genetically modified, the poison is grown right in the plant, so you can't get rid of it. It's there. And one of them is Bt toxin, which then takes all the good minerals and vitamins in your body and cleates them back out. And it's causing all kinds of allergies. If you've noticed lately, our children have way more allergies than they used to. One of the reasons is because of Bt toxin. And if it's GMO and it doesn't have Bt toxin in it, it's sprayed with Roundup, which we know from a lawsuit 2 years ago causes cancer. And Bayer has paid out over $20 billion to people who got cancer from Roundup. So you want to be eating organic, and you want to eat all the colors of the rainbow, because each color has different gifts of phytonutrients, and all together they get together and they party in your body. So you need to feed your computer, which is the most sophisticated computer that has ever existed, with only the best stuff. And
Cheryl, I have a question for you.
Yep.
Okay, because I buy organic when I can. And now you mentioned GMO, which I know we have here in the US and not in Europe and in other countries. It's illegal other places, but apparently we don't really care that much about people's health here in the US. Let me ask you, how do we know if our food is GMO? Does it have to say it on the label? If I go to the store and I buy a bag of spinach that is not organic, or I buy some cucumbers that are not organic, how do I know if they're GMO? Obviously, corn, we all know, like you can't probably get any corn that's not GMO. But how do we know as consumers?
There actually is a chart of what things are genetically modified. I have it on my website. You can go look at it. There's also a chart for the dirtiest of the things that are sprayed with pesticide and herbicides that a company called EWG.org puts out every year. And you want to stay away from those 12 things that are really dirty. And then there's a clean 15 that you can buy not being organic. I have found another site that's really important called whatsonmyfood.org. You look it up and it will blow you away with how many toxins are on the things that you're eating. And they break it down to what are neurotoxins, what are interrupting your hormones, and what are even killing our bees. No bees, no food. How do you know which GMO? They used to always put a code on it, but now they're not, they're hiding it. So it's good to research, be aware, and buy organic whenever you can. And then to read the chart. Not everything is genetically modified. There are maybe 25 foods that are on the list.
What's on myfood.org. Great. Thank you. Very good information. Thank you. I'm going to make notes of this right now. Dr. Charles, tell us some horror stories about what you found out. Is it it's something that most of us consume coffee every single day, right? It's the first thing we go for in the morning.
Yeah.
So tell us, I'm guilty of making hotel coffee because it's the closest coffee to myself. I just was presenting at a show on the west coast of Florida over the weekend, and I made some hotel coffee, knowing full well that it probably had a lot of mold and pesticides. I don't do that very often, but what is in our coffee?
Yeah, this is a great question. I'm going to paint a bigger picture for you. So coffee is the third most drank beverage in the world. When you need that much quantity of coffee, it's a cash crop. What do you do to cash crops? You spray them with pesticides, right? That's how they can get that much quantity. When you have that many pesticides, on top of that, they found anywhere from 50 to 90% of coffee that was tested in this huge study had mold on it. So with that combined with pesticides and then heavy metals, you got chemicals. When you roast it, you have acrylamide that comes off of that. So anything that you roast or you burn in food develops acrylamide and the known carcinogen. So you want to make sure to have that as low as possible. So here is what I tell people, because anywhere from 70 to 80% of the US drinks coffee, right? And typically when we drink coffee, we have more than one cup.
Yeah, I'm drinking your coffee today that I made in my coffee maker this morning. This is my second cup today.
Yeah, up to 5 cups a day you can typically get away with, depending on your health and your sensitivity to caffeine and such. But here's the thing with coffee, when you roast and you do this, and if it's not organic or if it has a bunch of chemicals and pesticides, you're concentrating that into a cup. And so when you drink one or two every once in a while of coffee that is not like healthy coffee is okay. But when you start drinking 5 cups a day times 365 days a year, times 10 years, times 20 years, like most people aren't going to not drink coffee every day. It's like that morning ritual that we all love and we look forward to. You have this thing called a cumulative dose toxicity that builds up in your body. The other word for that is bioaccumulation. And so it's not so much drinking a few cups here and there of regular coffee that's bad for you. It's the fact that you're doing that every single day, 365 days a year, multiple cups times like 10 years. And that accumulates in your body. Then all of a sudden you start having these weird health problems that you can't really explain, or they just come out of nowhere and you're looking for a reason why, but it's more the fact that you've been drinking coffee and you've been eating non-GMO foods and you've been doing all these other things, your air, in the household environment, the things you put in your skin. There's so many different toxins. So this all just accumulates in your body. The way I view health is like, how can I start knocking away as many of these as I can? And so with coffee, it's just something I fell in love with and I really started to go deep into. And I was like, if I'm drinking this every day, like I said, I started when I was 35. So my thought is, if I'm drinking this every day, I want to find the cleanest source. Couldn't really find anything that would match my criteria. That's why Life Boost was created. So now we have a checklist that we trademarked as our Trust Pure process, which is basically a checklist of what we look for in coffee in order to source to create from farm to cup the cleanest bean that we can possibly find. And so part of that is the regions grown, single origin versus blended beans, because typically when you blend beans, a lot of companies will take inferior beans and blend with a high quality bean to save margin, right? To make it more cost effective so they make more profit. So we really focus on single origin, where it's just like one farm, one region. And it's just an easier way to control cross-contamination of like for molds and pesticides and all that type
So,
of stuff.
and without naming any names of any large chain companies that are selling their coffee on every corner. So I will try to, when at all possible, go to a local coffee house if I'm getting coffee out. Tell us what I don't want to say hope we can find in those places, but what are we really finding under the green and white umbrellas when we go for a coffee somewhere?
This goes back to what I said before. When you're that size, you're sourcing conventional coffee, right? They're going on giant plantations most of the time because they need large amounts of coffee. In order to do that, you're sacrificing quality for quantity. So this is where they go in to create that mass quantities. You're going to have to do a lot of deforestation in order to build coffee farms. They can produce that amount. And then you use the pesticides to keep the pests away, right? So there's some sacrifices that have to be made to do that. So that's what you're going to find.
And how much has coffee consumption gone up in the US in the past 10 to 15 years? Do you have any statistics?
It is definitely increased because one, they have all different types of methods. They have the instant coffees now. They have cold brew, which is super popular with the younger generations. Coffee consumption is now, I think, starting at 13 to 15. But now it's like a cool, trendy thing to drink coffee. So there's all types of.
To drink coffee with a lot of sugar and frappuccinos and caramel syrup. You look at some of the calorie counts on these coffees, you can eat a lot of food for what you're going to be drinking. And our obesity levels are consistently rising. And I'm sure one of the culprits is all these sugary coffee drinks that people really don't think about. It's the equivalent of drinking a couple of candy bars.
Yeah. And it's easier to go down because it's liquid, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't fill you up. Yeah, it's a vicious cycle. And it's something that I feel like some of these guys are doubling down on just because that's supply demand, right? This is what most people, especially the younger generation, wants is they love their sugary coffee drinks.
And with the advent of intermittent fasting, a lot of people are now, they drink coffee because when you're intermittent fasting, you can really only have coffee, black, or black tea or green tea or some type of a tea derivative.
Yep.
with no milk, no sugar, no added anything. So I would imagine that a lot of healthy people really swear by coffee. There was Dave Osprey and his bulletproof coffee. I know he's got a new coffee brand now. He just sent me a bag of it. He also talks about the problems with mold in coffee. So, well, thank you, Dr. Charles, for doing what you do, because those of us who love our coffee and want to be healthy are super happy about it. And is your coffee it's just mail order? Is that correct?
Yeah, so we are on Amazon. We have our own website. The website is where you'll find, we have a lot of different types of coffee, like I said, flavors and roasts, and we have a specific way to make it a healthier version that we do things. Not all of that is on Amazon. So right now we're on Amazon and our own store.
I just ordered your tiramisu flavor.
Everybody loves that one.
Yeah.
That's a popular one.
Thank you. Cheryl, give us a rundown of the Dirty Dozen again, just to refresh everyone's memory.
The Dirty
And
Dozen,
then also
okay.
the Clean 15, if you don't mind.
The Dirty Dozen is where you start when you want to start cleaning up your diet and eliminating pesticides and herbicides from your body. It is just the bare minimum, but it's a great place to start and to use your budget. So the Dirty Dozen are the 12 things, and they change every year, that EWDG tests that are the dirtiest of the dirty. Number one on the list every year seems to be strawberries. Everybody always goes strawberries. They're low to the ground, so they're quickly attacked by pests. And so they are heavily sprayed, and they're sweet. So the pests like them too. So they're the dirtiest of all of them, but there are 12 and they change every year. You want to make that list and carry it with you when you grocery shop, so that you know that when you're going to spend organic dollars, you're going to start with what's on that list. If it's on the Clean 15 side, which also changes every year, broccoli just fell off of it. And when you look up broccoli with what's on my food, it now has something like 43 different toxins on it. If it's on the Clean 15, you can choose to buy it conventional. I choose, if I can find it, to still buy it organic, because my body's like a smoke alarm that goes off with every toxin in a 50-mile radius. I have cleaned them all up, and that's how I've returned to wellness. But it's a guide. It's a place to start with your funding. Beyond just the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15, ultra-processed food is loaded with sugar, which is also a toxin.
So you're gonna tell us the rest of the other 11?
I don't have that list in front of me. I'm sorry. I have things that you can do to be healthy, which is start with cleaning up the toxins on your food and cooking and buying organic, so that you can control what goes into your mouth.
I know apples are always on the list of the Dirty Dozen.
Apples are always on the list. Cucumbers are on the list. Cherry tomatoes and tomatoes are on the list. Kale is very dirty and on the list.
Thank you. That's super helpful. So everybody should check out, do your own research on the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. Cheryl, how long did it take you to clean your health up when you started making these dietary changes?
5 years.
5 years.
5 years.
And were you doing liver cleansing at the time? Any other type of?
I had a fatty liver. I have now returned to having a very healthy liver. There are supplements you can take to help your liver. In addition to diet is the place to begin with everything. And your liver is where all the toxins get cleared out in your body. So having a healthy liver is important to having healthy organs throughout your body. So glutathione helps, milk thistle helps, alpha-lipoic acid helps, but it starts with eliminating as many toxins as you can from your food as possible, and then eating the rainbow so you get all the phytonutrients to work together to create health in your body.
Right. Get a microbiome test that will tell you a lot about what's going on in your gut. Our friends at globalhealing.com offer a great liver cleanse. I've done it on several occasions. I try to do it once a year, because our friend, one of the founders, Dr. Edward Group, says that for most of us, our liver is only functioning at about 15 to 20%. So cleaning up your liver, also super important. Let's talk for a minute about the water that is used, I would imagine, to wash vegetables, and also that goes into the coffee processing. Our conventional water system full of fluoride, full of chlorine, full of a whole bunch of other chemicals. you can get a local water report from your local municipality so you can see what's going on with the water in your area. I'm a huge fan of at least putting an under the sink in the kitchen water filter, reverse osmosis, something to clean your water up and take the fluoride out. We're all trying to stay conscious and aware and keep our third eyes open. Having water with fluoride is not helpful in that endeavor. And then if you think about if you're drinking any kind of soda or beverages that are mass produced, chances are they are not filtering the water, which means that Diet Coke that you're drinking has a lot of fluoride in it. And we can go on and on. Dr. Charles, tell us a little bit about the water that is used in the coffee processing for at least Life Boost coffee, and then how conventional coffee growers use water in their processing.
All of our coffee is high elevation grown, so it's in the mountains, right? So when they wash it, they use mountain water, spring water. So it's spring water washed. We also third-party test. So after all is said and done, this test is for 450 plus different toxins, mycotoxins, acrylamide, heavy metals, pesticides, lots of other chemicals I can't pronounce, glyphosate as well.
Yeah.
As a test, just to make sure that it is what we say it is. Like I said, if I'm putting it in my body, I want it as clean as possible. And I just figured that there's probably quite a few other people out there who think like me and want that too.
You look super fit and healthy. So whatever you're doing is working. I have a question that either one of you can jump in on. I'm gluten-free and I've been gluten-free since 2012. I know that our wheat crops are sprayed with a lot of glyphosate. If you're like me and you're gluten-free and you're looking for some gluten-free bread or crackers, is it safe to assume that it is not sprayed with glyphosate or Roundup at the end of the processing, or are gluten-free products also suspect?
If the gluten-free started with wheat, it has glyphosate. Wheat is drenched in glyphosate. And then it depends upon whatever else is going into your gluten-free flours, whether or not it's heavily sprayed or not. So you need to be aware of that, and you can research it.
But again, if I have gluten-free crackers in my cabinet that obviously don't have wheat in them because they're gluten-free, but maybe they're made from a rice flour or a chickpea flour or some other type of oat flour, should I still be concerned that I'm putting Roundup in my body?
Rice flour has arsenic in it, so that becomes
there we go with the rice. Yeah,
there are different things that are used on different flours that you're buying for your products, so you need to do your research. Even if you're making rice, there's a whole process where you start to cook it, then you take it out of the heat, you wash it, and then you finish cooking it, which washes off the majority of the arsenic. It's important to do these things so that those chemicals don't go into your body.
I know that there's rice and arsenic. I try to buy organic rice, typically from Thailand or from another country, not always China, but India or Thailand, because I love rice. I cook a lot. I'm part Asian. I cook a lot of Asian food. Rice is a staple in my diet, but keeping the arsenic out of my body also very important. These different websites that you shared with us, are they going to get as detailed as the different brands of rice, so that we know with certainty what's in that rice?
What's on my food does not, but EWG often will talk brands, not necessarily with food, but sometimes with food, but all your cleaning supplies have toxins in them. All your makeup has toxins in it. And they actually have a database by brand in most cases. And if you can't find your brand, you start at the bottom of the list and work up till you hit something toxic. And then you find a replacement that is not so toxic to replace what's in your cabinet. There are toxins everywhere in our environment, and we need to purge them. So you need to toss the toxins, and that takes some work. There is an app that EWG has out called Think Dirty that will identify some of the products when you're actually shopping with the app. So that's a help. I looked up every ingredient 12 years ago. I don't do that anymore. I start at the bottom and work up till I hit something that's nasty. And then I know I've got to replace it, which has saved a lot of time.
Home cleaning supplies are incredibly toxic. I use natural products now in my home. My dog actually has a recurrence of cancer because he's close to the floor. I certainly don't want him breathing in toxic cleaning supplies. We had a gentleman on the show a few weeks ago who wrote a book for healthy kids and really did a deep dive into the toxicities in cleaning products and cereals and some other things that people just normally would think are great for their kids.
Yeah, all the synthetic ingredients in ultra-processed food are a problem. They don't give the body anything to function on, and they're addictive. And the ultra-processed food is also loaded with sugar. Weaning off of ultra-processed food and eating and cooking real food is one of the more important things that you can do. And then buying coffee that has taken a concerted effort to remove the pesticides from it, as well as all the other products that you're putting into your mouth, is also crucial. It accumulates. There's something called toxic load. And when you go over the toxic load is when you get chronic illness. So it's all the toxins that combine together that create ill health and take you out of balance.
Cheryl, where do you advise to a person who may go out to eat 5 to 10 times a week, getting food on the go? It could sound incredibly overwhelming for people, even a trip to the grocery store. Now we're going to be doing a deeper dive into some of these products that I thought, okay, it's not organic, but it may be okay. Maybe it came from Trader Joe's or one of those other places that seem healthy. They did an expose on Whole Foods a few years ago, and some of their frozen vegetables that said they were organic, then you turn the package over and made in China. And I don't know what the organic standards are in other countries. If I'm getting my rice from Thailand, or we're buying frozen vegetables that say organic from China, what should we expect?
If you're buying organic vegetables from China, they have different standards than we have here. You don't know what you're getting, to tell the truth. How do you attack the whole toxic issue? My whole first book talks about how I did it step by step. And I provide a workbook so that when you find something toxic in your life, you've been using it, use it till it's gone, but write down in the workbook what you're going to replace it with, because every toxic item that you reduce in your life is one step closer to health. Everybody freaked out they couldn't do it all at once. You don't have to do it all at once, but you do have to make a concerted effort to do it step by step, so that your body can clean up, your liver can clean up, and you can return to wellness. And it's an important process to go through one at a time.
Great. And thank you for bringing up the importance of our makeup products, our beauty products, our skin lotion. I had a friend send me 3 giant bottles of Jergens lotion as a birthday gift. And there was no return note. I didn't even know who they came from. And when she told me she sent them, she said, oh, they're organic, really good for your skin. And I screenshot the ingredients and I sent it to her. I don't even know what half these chemicals are. And she has a health issue, actually a couple of them. And I'm like, but you may want to do a deeper dive into what you think organic is. This is also a person who doesn't filter their water and has had cancer and is in the medical profession too. So the ironies get more and more, because I have a lot of people in my life now that have cancer. I believe it's gone up 800% in the past 3 years. I'm sure there's a variety of reasons for it. Any insights there, Cheryl? What's with the cancer explosion?
Ultra-processed food. I am a strong believer that what we eat, if it's not giving us health, it's part of the problem. And why you want to eat all the colors of the rainbow is all those phytonutrients, which are there for the plant, but they're gifts for us. Many of them actually specifically target cancer cells. We all have cancer cells all the time. The case is whether or not we eat and do things and have enough toxicity in our life that allows those cancer cells to take a hold and grow. So you want to eliminate all the toxins. You want to eat whole foods that are organic so that you're feeding your immune system from what I call the pharmacy, Pharmacy, instead of needing the pharmacy with the PH later down the road. If you eat for your health, then you come back into balance and your immune system can fight off a lot of this. But if you don't, then all those chemicals in ultra-processed food, which our body can't use, are not feeding health.
Okay, so let's talk about the advent of juice bars and how popular they've become in the past 5 to 10 years. I'm going to go, I'm going to maybe get a double wheatgrass juice. Maybe I'm going to get some carrot, apple, lemon, beet juice. Do you think these juice places are using organic produce, or are they buying their carrots at Costco? And am I poisoning myself by having a juice thinking I'm doing something healthy?
I ask before I order the juice. I do my due diligence everywhere I go. Before I go to a restaurant, I'll call and talk to the owner. I'll find out if they're farm to table and where are they buying their meat, whether it's grass fed, grass finished. I'll talk to the chef. They'll come out and meet me when I arrive at the restaurant if they're a clean and healthy restaurant that I can eat at, because restaurants want to make you happy. So if you find the recipe that is cooking the kinds of food that you want to eat, they're going to be thrilled to have you there. And they'll take things off of different plates to make you a plate that's healthy for you. Juice bars have a couple of issues. They might not be organic, and they're taking all the fiber out of the fruit and the vegetable, and we need fiber. That's one of the things that all the toxins jump on as they leave our liver. They jump on the fiber to leave our body. And fiber also takes all the phytonutrients up through the vagus nerve to our brain and to all the organs in our body. So we need the fiber. So to occasionally drink juice is great, but what you really need is to be blending fruit with all the fiber and drinking that, because that's what's best for your body.
So get some organic carrots and just put them in a Vitamix and enjoy. Great. Thank you.
I don't even take the skin off because a majority of the nutrients are right in the skin.
I'm curious, what do you use to wash your vegetables?
I just scrub it with my filtered water. My entire house is filtered.
I always ask when I go to a restaurant before I have an iced tea or water, I always ask if they filter their water. Especially, I live in the state of Florida and we have notoriously bad water.
Yeah, and I take my water with me everywhere I go, and I never drink it out of plastic. You pay 1,200 times more for plastic water, and not only is it leaching chemicals into the water that you're drinking, but it came out of a tap somewhere that wasn't filtered.
Yeah.
And then little microbes of plastic get in that plastic bottle. So I take my filtered water from my house and I put it in stainless steel bottles and carry it everywhere I go. And I carry big jugs of filtered water in my car to replace the water as I drink it down.
I do the same exact thing. I was at a Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses conference earlier in the year. And actually, we had him on the show on clean water. He actually carried his own water filtration system with him, not just for drinking water, but also for his shower in his hotel. That's very intense. And certainly I'm not going to do that, at least with the shower filter. But it's interesting to see that people who really know what's in the water go to the nth degree to avoid it. And you can also buy little testing strips off of Amazon where you can test your water at home and see how much fluoride is in it, see how much bromine is in it, see how much chlorine is in it. And then at least you have a baseline to know where you're moving from. And if you have pets at home, give them filtered water, please, or give them distilled water, because pets are people too, and they also get a lot of cancer.
They're getting all of our human diseases.
Yes, I know.
And their food is also an issue.
That's a whole nother story. We did a whole show on pet health too. So I wish we had time to delve into health for our four-legged friends, but just do for your pets what you do for you. Any last closing words of wisdom, Dr. Charles?
No, I would just say that when I practice, I would tell my patients that your health is your most important asset in your entire life. Your health is your wealth.
I say the same thing.
And you are also the CEO of your health. You're the decision maker, right? So don't be falling into authority bias or binary bias. Do your own research and ask questions. And if you have a gut feeling that you're not agreeing with an expert and authority, get a second opinion.
Wonderful. And tell us where we can find you, Dr. Charles.
lifeboostcoffee.com. You can email support@lifeboostcoffee.com or drc@lifeboostcoffee.com, and somebody will get you to me, or DRC goes right to me.
Great. Thank you. And I'm going to ask you to jump in one more time at the end of the show to talk about Life Boost Coffee. I usually do the live read for you guys, but now that I have a founder with me, I'm going to want your help. Cheryl, where can everyone find you?
Cheryl at healthmuse.com, at gmail.com. If you have a question, I'm happy to answer. I really am doing this in my senior years because I want to pass the knowledge that I have so that you can also be as healthy as you possibly can be. Own your own health. You have way more power over your body than anyone has ever allowed you to believe. So research, have robust conversations with whoever your health practitioner is, and question things. He is not the who said of the greatest magnitude. You are. And listen to your body. Your body is very smart. So if you get quiet and you ask your body how it's doing, it's going to talk to you in symptoms. Listen to that.
Wonderful. Yes, we said one of our tenets at Yoga Fit is listen to your body. And it's so important to listen to your body when it's whispering, because if you don't listen to those whispers, they are soon going to become screams. We would like to thank our sponsors who make this show possible. First and foremost today, Life Boost Coffee, the cleanest, most organic, most delicious coffee that you will ever have. It is ethically grown and they pay their farmers a good wage, and they've got so many delicious flavors. My current favorite flavor is the midnight roast. I also like the dark mocha roast, but I'm most excited about our new mindfulness blend that is half calf and powered by YogaFit. And you can save 15% at checkout at Life Boost Coffee by using the code YogaFit. Dr. Charles, did I forget anything?
No, like I said, we're here to serve whatever you guys need. If you have any questions, just email us, chat with us, call us. Our phone number is right at the top of the website, so you should have no problems finding it. Yeah, we're just here to help.
Wonderful. Thank you. And we would also like to thank our sponsor, Blush Love, making all types of interesting products for sexual health and wellness, including if you're a yoga practitioner, they have Kegel balls. They have products for all different types of individuals and different bodies. And if you are into improving your sexual health and wellness, check out blushlove.com and you can save 15% at checkout by using the code YogaFit there. We'd also like to thank our sponsors, Erconia Lasers. So their lasers are high level red light lasers, and they're used for treating pain, inflammation. They help repair tendons and ligaments. They also have lasers for animals, which I'm actually using on my dog. And there's settings for pain, for inflammation, for scar tissue, for gingivitis, for calm and anxiety. So if your dog, cat, or horse needs a little extra loving with some high intensity lasers, you can go to Konya and check out the wide variety of lasers that they have. I've been a longtime fan of red light and laser therapy, and I know personally a lot of people who have avoided all types of surgeries, whether it's their knees or their labrum, hips, by using red light lasers and feeling better. So there's a lot of technology out there that you can utilize for your health. We'd also like to thank our sponsor, YogaFit Training Systems, the leader in yoga, mind, body, fitness education. And YogaFit is hosting a variety of conferences in 2024 with all types of trainings and workshops for anyone. So if you're having back pain, core issues, if you're having trouble sleeping, if you need to recover from grief, we've got over 250 different educational programs, online trainings, ongoing workshops, like the Yoga Lean workshop that I lead weekly. That's a continuity group virtually. So check out yogafit.com, and you can also save 15% by using the code healthy23 at yogafit.com. And thank you all so much for being on this show. This is such a big topic that I feel like we just scratched the surface on dirty foods and dirty drinks. It seems like there's a lot of dirt in our country that we really don't want to be putting in our body. And remember that you are your best health advocate always. So keep educating yourself, even if you're just going to YouTube University and watching a bunch of stuff. The NIH also has great articles for health and wellness. And sometimes you have to do a little deeper digging, maybe get some of the apps that Cheryl suggested, but it's worth it. It's worth it to take care of your health while you're healthy and not wait until you're not healthy to start that process. So again, thank you both so much for being on the show. Thank you To our listeners, if you enjoyed this show and know someone who may benefit from it, please share with as many people as possible. And until next time, stay healthy, be healthy, think positive, and remember, it's all under your control. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Thank you. Namaste.